Hi, my name is Ravi Jagannathan. I'm going to talk about how to optimize working with OpenStack in terms of deployment and other considerations. To start with, I thought, I'll just focus only on the technical aspect of it, how you can optimize it in terms of, performance and stuff like that. The more, and then more feedback started coming to me saying that, hey, we want the other aspects of the OpenStack, optimize, how to optimize OpenStack, we would like to see it covered. So apparently as this talk gets watched, beyond this, this particular, instance here, I decided to include, other topic that people actually requested. So optimizing OpenStack is not a single dimension topic. It actually has multiple aspects to it. So the aspects are, first of all, one has to decide, is it worth moving to the OpenStack infrastructure? People may have their own homegrown ones, and most people do, and they also have the kind of technologies that came before, like VMware, vSphere kind of thing. They already have it running. So once they make the decision to go with OpenStack, then whole bunch of things come into the picture. The optimization of OpenStack is not one dimensional, as I said. It has got multiple other dimensions. So what would it cost? I mean, it's a new thing, what is it going to cost? So how to adapt and customize OpenStack to save time? Is there a way I can do it in a better way so that I can save time? Because configuring and customizing OpenStack is not a trivial thing. Anybody who dealt with OpenStack know that by now. How to optimize OpenStack for reliability? There is a controller level reliability, and there is a VM level reliability. So there is different aspects of reliability, and there are multiple databases in OpenStack. So reliability is another issue. And as a part of the OpenStack, some of the new technologies are coming up, like VXLAN, MPLS over GRE, and some of the technologies are getting deprecated. So all of these things put together, rolling out new technologies with OpenStack is another thing that people need to optimize. So optimization is not one dimensional, it is multidimensional. How to optimize OpenStack, so that they can have better customer experience. How do you build a portal? Do you expose Horizon to customers as is, or is it even a good idea to expose Horizon to customers? In many instances, people are concluding it is not a good idea to expose Horizon to customers, except keep it as an internal tool for admin to manage and work and find status and that kind of stuff. So we will cover some aspects of these things. So anybody who actually work with deploying OpenStack, they actually come across all of one or more of these aspects, most likely all of them, in one fashion or other. So I tend to build and deploy very large, high secure clouds. So I tend to come across all of these aspects of issues. So now let's just look at the cost. I mean, the basic things, the budgeting 101. So is it OpenStack is not a simple buy, install, use software, right? So you can buy a distro, or you can put together a distro of your own, which most people don't recommend. You can buy a distro, a commercial distro of OpenStack. Even then, you need to do a lot of work to make it work. So it's not just buy, install, and use. I mean, even after buying, do you use your internal engineering expertise, or you need consulting services from the distro guys that you bought? There are more dollars that they want from you or you need to spend than just paying for the software. So it's another thing, the cost involved. So optimizing OpenStack in terms of cost itself is something one needs to pay attention to. And so when you are going to OpenStack, are you going to use the existing hardware, or you need to buy new servers and network gears? What if you land up choosing some kind of a network overlay, and your old gears that you have doesn't support it, like VXLAN, right? And then there are new things like OVSDB that could be used for various purposes. Such features may not be available in your old network gears that you have, on which your old computer infrastructure, cloud infrastructure software ran just fine. So as you move to the OpenStack, you may encounter new costs, and optimizing OpenStack in your infrastructure, you may want to look into this kind of considerations, because if you don't want to buy new hardware, new servers, you may actually have to configure OpenStack differently. That's basically how the optimization and costs actually actually interact. So another thing is, people have their application, now the trend is to move it to cloud, and people have got extensive experience moving applications to cloud when it comes to VMware or homegrown cloud infrastructure software, which I actually done a lot. And moving application to a cloud, when you actually produce your own infrastructure software, is kind of you produce the software for what your use case is, whereas OpenStack software is like everything for everybody. Now, when you actually want to move to the OpenStack, now how are you going to optimize and then make it productive when you move your application to the OpenStack cloud? This particular question is not answered quite well. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are struggling with it still. It is not a done deal. People are experimenting, evaluating, testing, but it is not a big time rollout. So this is another factor to consider when you are actually optimizing OpenStack, to reduce your expenses. So the bottom line is, people who don't consider these kind of facts, they think they are adapting OpenStack to reduce the cost, whereas they really are spending more money in adapting OpenStack than what they thought in the beginning. So these are the kind of things that OpenStack it actually costing you more than what you think. So this is one aspect of the how you want to optimize OpenStack deployment. You want to optimize it for cost. So that's number one, and there are more than one aspect of it. So as one transitions to OpenStack, is it time to move it to the data center, wholesale, or you want to actually move the OpenStack infrastructure deployment in stages? This is another thing you need to consider when considering OpenStack Cloud and the costs involved in it. The another way to think about how to adopt and customize OpenStack is that, assuming you want to do it internally, customizing OpenStack is not trivial. Like several configuration parameters, several whether how to do high availability configuration for stability, so those issues are not trivial. If you have open savvy programmers, you can have some solution architects. If you have both of them, then you can actually do it as an internal exercise, rolling out an OpenStack deployment. And incorporating OpenStack software infrastructure over existing hardware could be a challenge. One of the things that I actually mentioned to you was the newer technologies, incorporating newer technologies. So that could be a challenge. And another thing is proper planning of this project should be done, because whenever you change an infrastructure from one to another, it actually changes the dynamics pretty dramatically. So if you don't plan it appropriately, it could lead to a huge loss. And you also need to prepare your customer base, because you don't want your customer experience to change because you are moving to OpenStack from your previous cloud infrastructure, which is a big deal. So technical challenges are also there, like integrating various components in OpenStack. They don't work together very well. Integration internal IT setup with OpenStack infrastructure, is not a trivial task. Internal IT guys have their own good old IT infrastructure, software and setup and everything. You put this OpenStack, they're like, why? We don't need it, that kind of thing you will get into. So it is best to work with the OpenStack commercial distro, than actually putting together your own OpenStack, distro, which some people tend to do. I would highly recommend people have a set of test cases to run and check their OpenStack deployment before they actually roll out one. So these are all very important things. They also need to do stress and performance tests also on top of it to ensure the productivity or the throughput of the OpenStack infrastructure is what they expect. So this is also for reliability. High availability, something you guys may want to take into account. If one component goes down, the other takes on. So you really want to be skeptical about software-defined technologies like software-defined networking, software-defined storage, software-defined security. I mean, there are so many software-defined. But which one are you going to trust? Which one is proven? Which one is flaky? There are too many things. First thing to assume is everything is flaky. I'm going to go with a skeptical view. That's one other thing that you may want to do. So avoid using emerging new OpenStack components, no matter how attractive they sound. Some people fall in love with the name of the OpenStack component, saying that, oh, it sounds cool, we are going to do that. No, it doesn't work. So test your use case on a smaller OpenStack pod and test it multiple times before you releasing it. Get some friendly users to give it a dry run before you actually go and deploy it in a big way. So these are some of the things that I would recommend you guys actually take into account if you want to optimize OpenStack deployment. It is not one dimensional, it is multi-dimensional. That's the main thing to walk away with. Thank you. Appreciate it.